Hello world! Way of Time here, bringing to you another episode of EEPower. Now, I did a few tweaks to the physical appearance of our Nexus building. Just have some nice lovely bookcases for one, and I finally got the solar panels right here to finally connect directly to the energy battery box thingies over there. Yeah. What I'm thinking is that this will be our red power energy network. So just a bunch of solar panels around the entire thing, so we don't have to route cables going everywhere. Now, I did do some minor alterations to this building. As you see, I have the alchemical chest here, and firstly, I have some sugarcane here. So it looks like that this is basically a place where someone would just build a few Mistcraft linking books with our books and feathers right here, half stack each, some crafting tables, and we have a nice writing desk here. And we have in this chest, to make it not look as suspicious, we have some raw resources, some books and feathers, some more of them. So no one would really just suspect, hey, something's wrong here. Other than maybe this thing, which people could just assume is like a linking platform. Which, guess what? It's not. So let's go underneath and start some coding for our actual Nexus build, which seems pretty much powered up as far as it can. This will help a bit, but now it's pretty much just for decoration because we have it connected to the red power energy network. So let's see. We have a nice little computer here. We have some of this back here, another RAM module. And we have some more ribbon cable to make sure that the computer monitor is always connected to this computer. It's a bit messy, but honestly that's the only way you could get it to work otherwise. So let's try to figure out how we're going to code all this. First, we should probably write down which wire does what, and then work from there. So let's just jump down and check. The white wire is connected here to open up this channel when we are sending. So white is 1, and that is going to be open for retrieving. Okay, and it's very hard to write like that. Anyways, so orange, I got a little test lever just for fun, would be number 2, and that'd be bring up or force up. Good, we got that. And magenta is 4, and that's to detect book. Detect book. Yes, I'm a slow writer, and I also write cursive all the time. Just a force of habit, you know. You know that time when you were in like grade 4 or 5 and they told you that you had to write in cursive or else you'd fail? I took that to heart, and unfortunately I still write cursive all the time. At least I'm getting pretty good at it. Anyways, let's just so we know how everything's testing, working, and all that jazz, let's just use this thing up here to be able to, you know, monitor our progress. So the first thing that we should do is the call word. Basically the word that will be able to call everything that we want. But we're going to have to modify the call so that it will be able to not just go like 1 or 2, 4, 8, 16, because that's kind of space inefficient. What we should do is kind of do a bit of an encoding. So this is wire 0, wire 1, wire 2, wire 3. So when we put it with our bus ID, which is number 4, right here, multiply that by 16, because eventually there can be 16 in a wire set. So that'd be 16 times 4, that'd be 64, and this is wire 0. So 64 plus 0, this would mean this is book number 64. This is wire 1, so 65, 66, 67, 68, etc., etc., etc. So what we should do is make a few variables. So variable, variable for the expander, and variable for the book. And that's good. So when we call it, we're going to have to write those into the program, but we're going to have to decode it first. So let's get a decode word. So basically we have to decode like 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. into 1, 2, 4, 8, etc. so that it can fit in the book variable. Okay, now there are a few ways to do this, but I might go with the inexperienced noob version of just going, if it's this, go for that, else go for that, else go for that, or something similar for that. Now, actually, hang on, let's not do that. Apparently that is not a recognized word. Let's try to do a few experiments. So, I never actually use these, but we'll see how it does. Okay, obviously that is not a recognized vocation. Is there anything like that? No? I remember reading that, you over there. So 1, let's try that. Nope. Huh. Okay, obviously I am going to just go with the lazy route, which actually takes more work. So decode. So it'll take a number, check what it is, and then work with that. So we have to take the number, you have to duplicate it, check if it's 0. If it is, we want to return a 1. Otherwise, or maybe we can make this a little more interesting. One moment, I gotta think about the code that I want to write, see if it works visually. Okay, I'm going to see if this works. We're gonna have to duplicate it and do 0 equals. If it is, we'll do 1. Otherwise, we'll do something a little tricky. So let's wait for this to load. So duplicate 0 equals, if it's 0, do 1. Otherwise, we'll do a do loop. So obviously the do loop is going to be quite special in this case because it starts 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. And since everything's in power of 2s, this will get interesting. So 0 correlates to 1, 1 correlates to 2, 2 correlates to 4. So pretty much it's 2 to the power of x. So y equals 2 to the power of x. Since we can't do a do loop easily with 0, 0 do blah 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 loop, it won't work. But otherwise, we'll just do this. So duplicated 0, checked if it's that. Otherwise, we'll take the number that we have. Wait, we needed to drop. Dang it. See, I'm learning as I go. Duplicate 0 equals if. We'll do 1, or we'll drop and do 1, because we still had that original number on the stack. So this is to clear out the stack a bit. Otherwise, what we'll do is a do loop. So it starts as 1. So do loop takes a number and then it's 0. Then we start with do. And let's see. We'll have to take the number and multiply it by 2. No, wait. Yeah, this is my planning stage. It's not going well. So we have to do number 0 do But what we need to do first is get our number that we're going to do. So 1, then we're going to multiply it by however many times it is. But then since 1 is on the top of the stack and we need the number that we're decoding on the top of the stack, we're going to need to swap that number. And now we do that do loop. So we have to put 0. So we have the number that we're decoding, then 0, then do. And then we're going to multiply that number 1 many times by 2, depending on how many times it needs to do it. So next we're going to need to, after that loop, since we did it 1 too many times, we're going to have to divide by 2. So that's 2/mod. Wait, do we have a just slash? I don't think so. I'm just going to assume that we don't for now. We probably do. Yeah, we probably do, but I'm just going to do with this. So this gives us the divider, the remainder. To get rid of the remainder, we have to do a swap drop. That'll get rid of the 0 at the end because that's the only thing that's going to be there. Swap drop, and if I am correct, then I am probably incorrect, but what we're going to need to do is get a blank floppy. We don't have any blank floppies that I see, so what we're going to need to do is create another one. That requires 7 pieces of wood. Run like the wind! 7 pieces of wood and 1 little piece of iron. This is to make sure that we can save it and then check it later. So 7 and 1. 7, 1. Good. We should probably just make a bunch of blank floppies, but honestly it doesn't really matter too much. 7, 1. There, we got our blank floppies. So let's save what we have as the Nexus, but we only have the decoding so far. And then maybe if we'll have to do some rigorous testing with this decode word since we never used it before. So we're going to have to save to the Nexus. Put this blank floppy in our white bag. That's where it was before. Hehe. And I'm probably going to forget it, aren't I? Okay. Now it's saved. That's good. So let's try some stress testing. So decode. This should return 1. Good. Now 1 should return 2. Okay, 0, 1, 1, 2 needs to be 2. So obviously that last line that we did, the 2/mod swap drop, we don't need that. Now how many numbers are left on the stack? Okay, we're gonna have to forget decode, and then we're going to have to do decode again. Dupe 0 equals if drop 1 else 1 swap. Please get it right. 1 swap. Then we do 0 do not deep. I'm not even going to say it. Immature brats. Loop. And then we do it then. And supposedly this will work. I'm not 100% sure, but this should work. So if we do a test 0 decode, should get a 1. And we have nothing on the stack. That's good. So 0 gets the 1 wire. That's good. Gotta remember where my monitor is. 1 decode should give 2. 15 decode will give probably a negative number. Yep. But that is the black wire. Can 16 be done? Nope. Obviously, it's a little too much for it. Okay, so decode works. So let's page this. Save as a Nexus. So overwriting our horrible decode code. Decode code. Nice. And then we can go onwards to the next part, which is calling the blasted book. So first, when we do call, we take like a number 65. Then we have to take that number slash modulus by 16. So the divisor goes into the variable for the expander. So the exclamation puts it in that area. And then we have to decode the other one. So we got the number. Then we put it into the book variable. Now this is going to be the tricky part. What we need to do is then change the address to this at IOX address there. Then we have to change it so that the book so the book variable gets put out there, let's just say. So now the wire for the book is on. And thankfully nothing else will go in there. That's good. So everything's working. Gotta use the monitor, not the CPU. Okay, now here comes the tricky part. This sends it out into the merry blue yonder. Now what it has to do is continually wait until this magenta wire gets turned on. So what we do is then go 3 IOX address. So we have to turn it to the correct address for this particular IO expander. Let's just show the audience. See? Nice number 3. A 1 and a 2 in binary. And then we turn it to that. So now we have to do a begin and until loop. So begin until the statement before until is true. So we record what it is, what the wires are saying. Then we have to do, let's wait 2 ticks in between each one. Before, so begin, wait 2 ticks, then record what is being said in the wire, and then compare it to 4, which is the magenta wire, and so see if the magenta wire is actually working. Then turn it to see if it's equal to 4. If it's equal to 4, then that's when you get out. If it's not, it continues. Begin until. So until that point. So when it reaches the point where the magenta wire turns on, what it's going to do is first, it's going to wait 5 seconds. Is 5 seconds enough? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5 seconds will be enough for now. 100 ticks. So wait 100 ticks. You can probably modify it. Let's wait 10 seconds. Because 5 seconds, 10 seconds doesn't really matter too much which one you choose. So 200 ticks. Then we want to change the address back to the expander. And then we do 0 IOX so that all of them are turned off, supposedly. What we could have done was earlier, instead of IOX exclamation, we could have done IOX set, but honestly it doesn't matter too much since our decode program is working well. So supposedly this is the end of it. Wait. Just in case. And there we go. Whew. Okay, supposedly this works. So let's put this up, bring that back up into the surface, and we'll try with 64 call. 64 call, calling number 64, if you please. Oops. Call. Enter. And we got the nether book. So eventually it'll go back down. And then supposedly it'll then after 10 seconds go back to its original point. Now let's see. And there we go. Supposedly the book is now in its proper location. Checking, and it is in its proper location, and there wasn't any battery drain really whatsoever. So now we can probably test with multiple linking books. But what we're going to do is we have to be able, let's save it first. So let's bring it back down so that we can save this. And then we'll have to see if we can try to put something into a certain location. So let's save this as our Nexus. And what should we put as our, we want to send it to this location one? Let's have it as the same one, send. Let's have it send. So send, what send will do is take the number that you have in front of send, and then it'll do the same modulus thing. Good. So instead of right away turning it to the separate expander, what it'll do is take the orange wire, turn it on for a quick pulse, and then what it will do, let's see, it'll turn it on for a quick pulse, and now we have to make it dummy proof. You have to really make it dummy proof, unfortunately, because there's a possibility when you hit send, you might, be horrible at it and accidentally not put the right, you might not put a book in. So if you don't put a book in, we can't just continually wait until the magenta wire turns on, then wait 10 seconds after that. What we're going to have to do is wait like 20 seconds flat rate until the book gets all the way over, or 25 seconds. So 25 seconds from when you put send, or we should really have a variable to test the different speeds. So variable, fudge. Let's see, did that kill anything? Probably. Variable, delay. Yeah, let's have just some delay. And we'll start with 20 seconds. 20 times 20 is 400. And that should be good. So let's start with send again. Send. We'll have 16/mod decoder. And now what we want to do is turn on the orange wire. Wait 4 ticks for it to take effect, but whatever. And then we have to do 2 IOX reset. And finally, what we're going to need to do is turn on, or change to the expander that we want. Turn on that wire. We have to assume that it's not full. Okay, we have to assume that there's nothing in it. If there is something in it, that means that, well, it sucks. Yeah, it sucks kind of just explains everything. It'll kind of jettison it out here, but maybe it'll not be considered a valid destination because this isn't putting into anything anyways, going onwards. Maybe what we can do is have this stuck on until, that works actually. Let's Let's scrap this yet again. See the words, and we have to forget send because it is data that we do not want. So, okay, so it's not really there. So send. Instead, we'll just do 16/mod exp blah d this again. You know, this would be a bad time for a typo. So set the orange wire. So that means nothing can get through here. When this is set, this is no longer a valid destination. I'm gonna have to test that with the call button to see if that works. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay. It might not be considered a valid destination. Hopefully it's not considered a valid destination, because if it is, this might not work. Anyways, let's just hope that the guy is not a complete idiot. So do that again. We have to turn on the wire in question. So we have to do book at IOX set. This time we'll just have it a set, then reset later. Book at IOX set. Then we have to wait a delay ticks. So delay at ticks. Then what we'll do is do book at IOX reset. So that'll reset that. Turn the address back to 3. And then turn off the orange wire. The red and yellow, which is orange. And supposedly this will work. So what we need to do is get a book that we can use to test this. Maybe we can actually use our... let's just use our books that we have right now. But I don't want a book that is not in our correct location. So let's just quickly make one. Something looks similar. You know, I could have put the Nexus here. That would have been interesting. But, oh well. Too bad this isn't one of those following books. That'd be awesome. Okay, so, supposedly, let's bring this up. We should save this so we don't mess up. Save as a Nexus. Good, now we're going to send this to location 65. There we go. Now it's age 98. It'll go down. And supposedly, after this is done waiting for a long time, it will be in its proper book place. It's not in its proper book place. Oh, sakapapi. That's not good. Oh, that sucks. Okay, so we messed up by not having that turned. So now the book is probably lost in our system. Somewhere. I'm not honestly sure where. So let's maybe fix this by turning it over here. Open that up. Okay, now we have it at the incorrect location, but oh well. That's embarrassing. That's honestly really embarrassing. So let's check 66 call, and supposedly it'll take the book that we have. Oh, we don't have it at the right place. And our call word might be a little messed up also. And that kind of sucks. Okay, that's... I see the glitch with our call word. So what we're going to have to do is reboot the system, unfortunately. Because we're going to have to add some little words to it. So we'll have to restart the computer, and I'll have to think. Now, our previous call word, I had to forget up to call, so I had to delete send to. Our previous call word was messed up slightly in the fact that there's no, basically, room for user error. You have to know that a book is in that location. If there's not a book in that location, pretty much you're screwed. So there's either two ways, either make an array with all the books. If there's actually a book in that location, you can call it. Otherwise, what we can do is try to make it as idiot-proof as possible by perhaps just doing a key question mark in our begin until one. So wait 2 ticks yet again, and then we have to go back. Ooh, wait, we have to turn it back to 3. See, even good coders have off days. Okay, turn it back to 3. Then we have to do begin 2 ticks. Then we have to do IOX at 4. And to check if it's true, then we have to check if it's equal to. So now that gives us a Boolean. What we want to do is then have pretty much something that will be able to reset the system. So if there is no book, we want to be able to have some sort of way to reset the system. So what I'm thinking of doing is making basically another logic circuit similar to the magenta one, but instead of having it triggered by something like that, what we can do is trigger it by another button to say, hey, I'm an idiot, can you please reset the system? We don't want to make it too easy, because otherwise that would just kind of ruin the appeal. So what we'll do is instead have a button coming from here. Now if we can actually find a location that will actually work, we can probably get started. Give me wall. Thank you. Okay, that's actually a pretty good location. So what we'll do, and there's space there. Derp. Okay, so what we'll do is have the button trigger a timing circuit like the other ones. So we'll have this, instead of that, we'll have it as another bundled cable. Then what we'll do is have a different wire go here, then go underground to meet that. Or we can just put it as another color, put it that. Yeah, let's just do that. Jacketed wires for the win. Okay, so we'll just bring this across. You don't have to worry about me. I am not doing anything of remote interest. I'm doing things of a lot of interest. So we're going to have that. Actually, we're going to have to get the timing circuit again. And something tells me this is going to be a long episode. So sit tight. Okay, so the wire that will go with this is light blue. So we'll have that there, and we'll also have to get some of the wires because we're wired. And we're also going to have to get some more logic circuits. Oh my goodness, all I can think of are bad puns right now, and it's dreadful. Talk about countermeasures. Yeah. Anyways, going onward so I'm not a complete dork to all of the YouTube audience. Turn this around, and we'll have the timer going here. And we'll have this going back to here so that we have that right. That's good. That's good. And this will be going outwards, killing my wall, because, hey, that's how I roll. So, wire going up here, it will connect to an invisible button that it happens to be right there. Let's just do that. Hey, who needs walls? I don't. That seems good. So we'll need a cover eventually. Seems legit. So let's get our button and might as well get our singular cover so that we pretty this up right now before we forget about it and people think Hey, what the heck is that? So what we'll do is maybe have it something... No, that won't work. Okay, going with plan A. Getting this to go connect to that. Go through the wall. And go like that. Blue. It is blue. I like blue. Can't you tell? So let's have it as a 5-second thing. Again, turn this to a max count of 1 increment by 1 decrement by 1. That should work. It's a bit intrusive, but heck, whatever. A bit better. And a milestone. Okay, going onwards, this should work. So, what we're going to do is then... what we'll do instead is basically do duplicate. Duplicate that number. Check if it is 4. So we got a boolean on top of it, but we also have our duplicated number on it. So what we do is swap those two numbers to check if there's an 8. So now we consumed everything except we have 2 booleans, and we want to wait until one of them is on. So this has to be an ultra failsafe. Maybe we have to move the button somewhere else so it doesn't royally screw up. But now what we'll do is probably wait like 5 seconds. Nah, this will be good. Let's turn this something to a bit more reasonable. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Okay, that's good. We'll get this. I think this works. I really think this works. But we'll have to find out. So basically, whenever one of them... Oh, crap, it doesn't work. I needed an or instead of an and. This waits for both of them to be on. One moment, I'll just change the code until it's an or. Be right back. Okay, as you see, I changed the and to an or. The only thing else I did was to put a 40-tick delay after the address is changed, just to make sure if someone was just spamming the button earlier, it won't affect them. Because, you know, people are stupid. I know that for a fact, first-hand knowledge. Deal with it. Okay, so whenever that happens, what will have to happen afterwards is, let's see. I kind of forgot my call word. That kind of sucks. So, there we go. We have to change the expander back to the correct address. And then we have to take the book. Oh, we have to wait for a delay, don't we? Oops. 10 seconds. Yay, delays. And then we change it to go off. X reset. And then I think we just turn this back and then we're good. So supposedly this will work. I'm not sure. I'm not a rocket scientist. Well, I kind of am, but that's beyond the point. Anyways, let's go and try this. We called 66 earlier. Let's go 67 call. See if we manage to get a book in. Yes, we do. So 67 call works. So now we have age 98. Going to try to travel to it would be stupid because guess what age we're in? Now that that's done, we just have to wait for like a 10-second delay after it has finished going down. And now let's try our idiot-proof design. 66 call. There's nothing in that location. As you see, nothing happened. It's waiting, it's waiting, it's waiting. Let's turn it off. Now we'll have to wait for another 10 seconds just to say, hey, you're an idiot. I'm going to make you wait anyways. Shut up. And now it's out. So nothing changed with the physical part. But it works. Haha. Okay. Now there's 2 other words that we can do. But let's try to have one that we know will work. Okay, what we should do now is have... Okay, so remove from system will be, let's have a remove word. Oh, we forgot send. I'll just retype that because that code is good. Okay, we have send, we have call, we have send. Send, I think, works. Hopefully. If not, uh-oh. Anyways, going for remove. We should this will remove a book from the system. So give it a number, type in remove, and then it'll remove it by just using this as a valid destination, allowing it to be a valid destination. So what it has to do is wait for it to go up, wait for it to go down. I'm not sure what the delay for that is, so maybe we can just do a bit of a timing for that. No, let's just not worry about it. It's fast enough with this small of a system that if you needed to, you can just, when making a bigger system, just increase the delay or something like that. I'm not sure anyways. So we have to do with the ceremonial, modulus, exponent, and whatever. Now, what will happen is that we turn on the white wire. You have to turn on the white wire, but we have to turn it to the right address. No, what we do is just turn on the white wire for fun. You know, that's how we roll. Then we change it to the exponent, or whatever. I just say exponent, so hope you know I mean expander. If I say exp or experience, then you can hit me, because that's when I'll really deserve it. OX address. Then we have to set the book to be on. Then we have to wait for a delay. Now I think it takes 20 seconds for this. No. So it goes up 5, then goes down 5. That's 0.8 times 10. That's 8 seconds. Then we have to factor in a delay for that and a delay for that. So I'm going to, and also a delay for that, I'm going to go 20 seconds. So 400 ticks, good. Then we have to do book at IOX reset. We should probably reset it earlier anyways. That won't be any bother because it'll just be off anyways. Okay, then we have to go 3 IOX address and reset the white wire. Okay, so let's test this by removing 64 from our system. Huh? That wasn't fun. 64, remove. So it'll go up just to show that it's the right book, then it'll take it away. And more like it'll go up so you can do your final linking if you really want to. Okay, that works. Now how long does it work for? Okay, about 7 or 8 seconds extra, which I can deal with. Now if we look, we have our book in here. Now let's do one more thing and just send this off to 64 again, shall we? So 64, send. There we go. Now we'll just wait for it. It'll go down again. And then send it to its desired location. Now what we could do is a swap word, but that one I'm a little sketchy on how we'd be able to do that. So what I'm going to do is just say, if you really want to swap it, you just have to do 67 remove. It'll just remove book 67 from the system. See, here it is. And then what you'll want to do afterwards is, once it's back into this point, which will take a few seconds, La di da di da di da. Did I say a few? I mean a lot. There we go. We'll just then go 65, send, and this should send it to number 65. Yet again, no idiot proofing in the fact that it won't be able to say, hey, there's already something in 65. Because I hope you remember that. What we can do if you really are an idiot is put another mag tube here and put an overflow for books. So just in case you do something royally screwy, you won't be messed up for life. Wow, we definitely spent a lot of time on this build. I just checked and it's like, whoa! Anyways, let's get out of this building and cap it off. I think we're pretty much done with this build as it stands right now. Let's just do that, and probably just do that so it goes down. And as you can see, completely inconspicuous. We have two buttons. Maybe we can have it so that this one will only go up if this one is on, so you'd have to press this, then this for that to go up. But that's really not something we need to worry about. It'd just only be one more logic gate, though. I gotta decide on that. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of EEPower. If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. Wave Time here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.